Here we have A reading, the snake and the mirror. Second one, B reading, we have the duck and the kangaroo. Third reading, that is C reading, we have little Bobby. And I promise you, if you go through the first one, second one and third one, first one we will be having, you have to control your laughter. That way it has been put and presented, but it has covered many aspects of the human life. The lesson, it is named as the snake and the mirror, right? It has covered or reflected, I can say, on many aspects of the human life. And it is a satire on oneself, rather we can say, but every word has been chosen and has been put over there. Every sentence has been chosen, put over there to make fun. Means the main idea of the lesson is to make fun. That's all. Comedy. And second one, the duck and the kangaroo. Duck and the kangaroo, you see, these two are two different living things. One is a bird. That is, it can swim in the water and it can walk on the earth. Flying, very hardly it flies. Hardly means not even 2 steps, and it will be falling down. That is the duck. Or the great flight is, it can open its wings and flap it, sit there only. It cannot. Kangaroo. And moreover, one more characteristic of the duck. It lives or stays in marshy areas, water. Kangaroo, it cannot dwell in marshy areas because it needs a very hard place to kick and hop. To kick, if at all you are kicking in a marshy area, you cannot jump, right? But a kangaroo can kick the earth and it can go 1.5 meter or so high, more than that, and it can have a hop to a distance covering about 3 to 4 meters. I am telling in a very normal measurements. They are higher than that, longer than that. That is it. If in a marshy area of kangaroo dwells, it cannot. Because in the poem we can know it. It is a bit afraid of getting rheumatism. We will also see how the words have been presented over there. In a very funny manner it has been presented. And now third is little Bobby. Little Bobby, it is a very funny story, no doubt, very short story. And if you see, the complete philosophy has been injected into it. Complete philosophy, a characterization, everything has been put. So, though they appear very small in content, they give out very big ideas. And so these 3 lessons have been chosen very carefully and they have been put over here. And believe me, everything, the first lesson itself, the snake and the mirror, it will teach you the entire grammar, everything. When I am going through it, I found myself spellbound. Why spellbound is, the designing of the translation, it is not the original one. It has not been written in English. It has been written in Malayalam. He is a Kerala writer. It has been translated into English and the translator has taken utmost care that each and every sentence should be useful to the student. That way is taken care. And so when I have gone through these 3 lessons in that chapter, I was enthralled. Yes, the committee has done a very good job. So now, I don't want to praise them completely. Here, let us go with the first lesson, why I am telling so. The snake and the mirror. Where does a snake dwell? Where? Have you ever seen a snake? Maybe, may not be, because we are in the cities nowadays. and by the name of the snake itself we are scared. We don't know, right? Snakes, how many types of snakes are there? Mostly snakes which are available, they are 90% non-poisonous. Only 10% are poisonous, right? That we must have somewhere, maybe reading it, that is immaterial here, but by the name of snake itself, we are scared. Scared to what? If at all the snake is there, it is definite that I will be standing on a stool or on the cot or on the chair. And I may utter, "Arey, call somebody, menfolk, to kill it." Am I not a man? Yes, I am a man. But what am I doing? I am standing on the chair. Why so? Because I am scared such to my guts by the name of the snake. But see the fun. We speak about the snakes. We talk about the snakes and the adventures with the snakes many times. And here we can see a typical village atmosphere. What is this typical village atmosphere? In a village, there would be a huge banyan tree. Under that, there will be a what we can say is a cemented round table like the thing will be there. And on that, people in the evening gather. And after gathering there, they speak, they talk, they say, whatever you say, they narrate, whatever you say, about the things which are going around, whether it is at most important or no importance, nothing, just a general talk, whatsoever they talk there. That is the culture of the village. Now, second thing, there is an entertainment on the very same platform. What is that one? Storytelling. We are attracted by this art of a storytelling. And now we are restricted ourselves to hear only fairy tales or Ramayana Mahabharata stories. That's all. But there were people having capacity to taking some incident which they have just heard about and creating a situation such that it is really happened. Right? Though it has not happened, not occurred, they could able to create a situation taking into hands and they can just manipulate it and bring it before you as if it really occurred. That is the skill of a storyteller. Here I can say the writer, he is really a storyteller. He has taken such situation. What is the situation? All the people gathering on that platform under the banyan tree, talking many things. Unfortunately or unfortunately for the writer, it was the talk about the snakes which was going over there. And he has taken the situation into his hands, made everybody sitting over there to hear motionlessly to him, silently. Because the narration is such, if at all they move here and there or wink an eye, the snake would come and bite him. That kind of a scare he could able to create within the audience. A side of the lesson. And now, the first side, what it is. Normally, if I question you, have you ever seen a snake? You may be seeing it in the snake parks, which are caged, which are closed. But really, have you seen it entering into your flat, your living room, your drawing room, your kitchen? Have you seen it? You must have not seen it, and very surely you may not like the idea of a snake entering into your house, right? And if I question further, that is, has a snake ever coiled itself round any part of your body? That is the starting of this story, this lesson. With what it has been started? It has been started with a question which has no answer excepting yes or no. Has a snake ever coiled itself round any part of your body? When I ask you a question, have you seen a snake entering into your house, into your living room, into your bedroom, into your kitchen? So the same thought which I have put into your mind must have scared you. Right? You will never wish it. No, I don't want the snake here. But if the question has been put in some other manner which gravitates your scare, what is that one? Has a snake ever coiled on any part of your body? The thought itself may kill me. As I told you, if I see the snake here, I will stand on the chair and I will ask somebody to come and kill, as if I am not somebody, as if I am not a man. Right? And if it is coiled to any part of our body, with the thought itself, we are dying. If it happens, we really broken heart. Means our heartbreak will start or we will die. So this is the question with what the writer started his narration. And moreover, that is not an old snake, just a dying snake. No, full-blooded snake. What is this full-blooded snake? Young snake, powerful snake. Means for no reason it will be getting anger and it will be biting you. That is called full-blooded snake. Can you imagine this? Can you resist your scare? No. You will be scared to your bone. That is certain. With that question enters a doctor, a homeopath. You know, a doctor means he must be very, very, very busy with his practice. In olden days, the number of patients are very less. A doctor was not having a good practice. And homeopath means now you are hearing star homeopath, positive homeopathy, and some many international homeopaths. Many homeopaths we are hearing now, and there also we are seeing the queues and the rush and everything we are seeing now. And homeopath in olden days means an unknown person in the village or in his vicinity. Unknown, is not recognized at all. That kind of a person here, he says, have you ever experienced a snake coiling round any part of your body? With that he enters over there. So what is the idea? Though I am not famous here as a doctor, homeopathy doctor, let me be famous here with my storytelling. Right? That way, one aspect of the life we are seeing over there. People always crave to make the name, to show I am existing here, I am there, please look at me. That is there from the very young age of the man till he dies. That is the portion this very sentence or very paragraph brings here. Now, the homeopath questions it. And why he was questioning? Because there on the platform, everybody was discussing about snakes and their experiences. Now the doctor wants to put his own experience with the snake here. And when the question has come, automatically people will be silent. Yes, the doctor has something to say, let us hear. When it has become very pin drop silent, the doctor started his narration. That is, one night, late in the night, he had his rounds in the village and he was going back room. Going back room, why I said it's not a house, because he was a bachelor. And before reaching his room, he finishes his dinner somewhere in a restaurant, daily. Means in every bachelor life, this part is a very, what we can say, underlinable part. And here we can see that part in a human life, it has been very clearly has been depicted. One can compare himself with the doctor's life, that life. How does he live? In some unknown restaurant, somewhere in a cheaper restaurant, take your meal and unwantedly you go to your room. You are carried by your legs to your room. You don't want to go there. Because if you go there, you have to face the loneliness. Man cannot live in loneliness. So ultimately, after completing his dinner in a restaurant, he was carried unwantedly to his room. Why I said unwantedly means when he reached his room, he doesn't know. When he opens the thing, he hears sounds. He doesn't care. What are the sounds? He opens it. He went in. You see, everything is automatic one. Because he is a bachelor, nobody is there waiting for him in a house. Why the kid runs as soon as he board down the bus, he runs towards the waiting mother. Why? The mother is waiting for the kid. The man, after finishing his office job, he goes quickly by any means home. And when his wife is waiting at the front door, he is much relaxed with the appearance itself. Why? Attachment. And the bachelor doesn't have any attachment. The cot which he was having, if I describe it now, you feel something. And the room must not have seen the broom for months together. When only once, if I feel the time is left, much time is left, then I take the broom and just clean it. And the bed spread, and the pillow covers, and my dresses, how I keep them, one must see to it. I cannot describe here. Why? It has already been described here. I will read it for you, you can understand. So the room was like that. In addition to this, what more are there? I am sharing my room with rats. You see, the bachelor always shares his room with some other insects or rodents or something. There are mosquitoes, he doesn't bother. There are cockroaches, he doesn't bother. Why? Hardly he loves his dwelling. Hardly. Because there is no attachment with it. And so I put it, attachment, I have shown the examples, how eager a man goes to his house. I put it. Now there is no eagerness in his walking and in his reaching over there, opens it automatically, everything becomes mechanical. He opens the door, enters in. There is a sound overhead. He doesn't bother. Simply he dismisses the sound, not a dangerous one, by putting it, I share the room with rats. Right? When you hear it, a man sharing a room with rats, it is a funny thing, funny description. But it was a fact, it is a fact, it will be a fact. A bachelor, if at all he lived long, he must be sharing his room. If he is living now, he is sharing, and he will be sharing. It will be there. You ask any bachelor, right? Water, a glass of water or a water bottle he has carried. And he has a very good thought. Today there was no water in my room. Let me carry a water bottle. He buys it and takes it. He drinks half and he keeps that half bottle there on the table, and after 20 days it will be like that. That is bachelor life. We cannot go away from that stage of the human being. Shakespeare has forgotten that. He had described 7 stages of a man, but that bachelorhood, probably it was not there in those days, I do not know, but he has forgotten that part. It is a very thing, but here our writer, he had brought it and he has described it for you. Now after having that, what more happened? He goes in and he talks about his living. What was his living? He was a homeopath doctor. And